Today we're talking about intimacy. What is intimacy? We use this word, people use this word, and it might have a different meaning for every single person, that is a different meaning for each person. So I'm going to be talking today about intimacy in my experience working with people, in my professional, personal experience, how it has been presented, experienced, handled. Intimacy is one of the most sought after states I found in my experience, especially in women. It often gets confused with the sexual act. Sex might be part of intimacy, but it does not define intimacy. When a couple is intimate, the next step can so easily be sexuality, though sexuality can exist with absolutely no intimacy. We know that. Intimacy promises a physical and emotional interplay with one's partner. However, if it becomes an expectation, it is often followed by frustrating and disappointing reactions, like any expectation. It is a form of what I called a naked soul connection. It includes physical touch and affection that may or may not lead towards the act of sex. It might or might not involve even talking. When there is talking, it is quite private and honest because it flows directly from vulnerability. Intimacy easily includes laughter, playing, teasing, or silence and stillness with each other. When a couple is intimate together, there's a sort of glowing in both and a profound sense of satisfaction in that moment. It cannot be manufactured, you see. You cannot say, let's be intimate right now. How does one reach and maintain it then in relationship? Okay, stop. Start. Intimacy is directly connected to the emotional state of a relationship. That's why if a couple is in not a very good place, they're going through a period of disharmony, of distance, of conflict, unresolved conflict. Sometimes people think, well, if we are intimate, it will resolve the other difficulties. Actually, intimacy is the result if you're in a good place, and especially taking care of disagreements, resentments. When you clear the carpet, what's under the carpet, I always say, it just flows easier. A constant state of disharmony never invites intimacy. So if you feel that in your relationship, intimacy is missing, instead of focusing on intimacy, take a look at the other states. Where are you in the other states of being together? Where are you holding feelings and thoughts and ideas and reactions that have not been shared? Or maybe they are shared with your friends instead of with your partner. That creates a slight state of betrayal, believe it or not, even if it's sharing with your best friend matters that really belong to the relationship with your partner. It's leaking energy from your partner. So it's a matter of keeping it between you and your partner. Giving attention and care to the other steps or ingredients that have been presented before in this podcast, in this season 2, is essential for the maintenance of intimacy. So we talked about trust. What's the level of trust between you? Has trust been damaged a bit? It needs attention first, because as I said in this episode, trust is the foundation. How are you loving each other? Are you going through a period that is a bit on the background, that calmed down a bit, that is not so present? A certain level of communication that encompasses, of course, like we talked about in the communication episode, being seen and being heard is important. A certain level of conflict clearing and accepting your partner's opposite ways of behaving. And of course, a general financial trust and security. And I keep saying a certain level, because no couple, there's no such thing as perfect all the time. It's always, when you think of a relationship, think of the sea, think of waves. It's always, because that is a very natural rhythm that we go through as people. And of course, the relationship is going through. Nothing is ever wanting it to be, expecting it to be ongoing nonstop. That can create resentment, create disappointment, that then consequently affects the relationship and blaming with your partner or yourself. So intimacy includes a state of connection with one's partner. When there is disconnection for a long time, intimacy is difficult to show up. Not taking the relationship for granted and continuing to maintain the basics helps keep the intimacy alive. You cannot afford to take your primary relationship for granted. You know, it's very much like a car. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a car person. So a lot of my examples involve cars, but it's very much like a car in the beginning. When it's new, everything is fine, is working fine, is going fine. But over time, a car needs tune-ups, needs repairs. So does a relationship. Relationship requires constant tune-ups and repairs. And that doesn't mean that it's not a good relationship. It's just that's the nature of relationships. And also often couples, people believe that they might seek therapy when they have serious problems. Sometimes what I call prevention meetings with a professional is a smart investment. Such steps actually can be an act of intimacy. So I so much welcome in this about intimacy, your questions, your comments, correcting me, adding on what I'm saying, because this is a very intimate episode, theme, topic, intimacy. If there is an effort to set the stage for intimacy, That's good enough. Once the stage is set, intimate moments might or might not arrive. And that is perfectly fine. Cut. Okay, show me. Time alone together invites and nourishes intimacy. What does that mean? It means without a third presence, whether it's a person, without a third entity, or whether it's electronics, cell phones, computers. Because our cell phones and our technology have gained the status of another entity in the home. So time alone together sets the stage. If a lot of different other steps and aspects and ingredients in the relationship are more or less, because we're not looking for perfection here, or not looking, this must be this way, this. The most important thing, stay awake, stay alive. Don't take it for granted. That's the most important step here. And when you notice something, pay attention to it, because it piles up before you know it. So this is what opens the path, clears the way, that when you do make time to be intimate together, to be close, quiet, silent, or playing together, intimacy kind of reveals itself. And that's all I have to share today about intimacy.